Alright, today we're going to use Cinemachine to make a very simple camera system with virtual cameras and a blended list camera. So the first thing we want to do is go over to filebase.GameDevHQ.com and pick ourselves up our surveillance pack, which has some CCTVs and some monitors. We're going to go ahead and take those CCTVs and go ahead and place them in 3 unique locations. They're not really actually going to be the visual camera, they're just props that we're going to use to identify where the cameras are supposed to be. Once we've blazed those into our scene, we're going to go out to Cinemachine and we're going to create a virtual camera. We're going to rename it static and we're going to align our view and press the Control-Shift-F to align our camera to our view. Then we're going to go ahead and create another blended list camera and we're going to reposition that view in our game view and then click on that blended list, Control-Shift-F. Then I'm going to take both cameras and pitch them opposite directions, but make sure their focal length are the same size. So both set at 60, and they're going to pan to one to another, and then we're going to create our final virtual camera that's going to be static. We're going to place that in the right position. Alright, so what we have right here is a virtual camera that is being enabled and disabled, and you can see that whenever I enable and disable it, it goes to where the camera is supposed to be. That's how Cinemachine works. So you go ahead and disable all the other cameras, and in the priority, you got to make sure that you set your player camera, your follow camera to a lower priority than your other cameras. And when those other priorities are set to, let's say, 11, and they're enabled and they're higher, you'll notice that when they're enabled, they can take control of the camera. This is how the system is going to work, and it works pretty simply this way. Now let's adjust this blended list camera so it loops in a row. So we're going to have our virtual camera hold for 2 seconds, and then it's going to do a linear path for 5, and then it's going to loop again and hold for 2 seconds and do another linear path for another 5 seconds back to the other camera. So it's just going to kind of twist and loop onto itself. It's going to turn to the left, it's going to hold there for 2 seconds, and then it's going to turn to the right over 5 seconds, and then this whole sequence is going to loop, kind of like what you would see for a regular surveillance type of camera. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to place in our panel that we have from our file-based assets, and I have an item interactable script, and all I'm going to do is just enable one of the cameras to turn on when I click on it. So as you can see, I walk over with my player, I click on the panel, and boom, the camera will take control of the scenario, which is perfect. It's what we want. Next thing I want to do is go ahead and create a new camera system script, and I need to create a serialized field that's an array, and I'm going to grab all of my cameras in this array. I also want to create a current index int to determine which camera we should be on and what camera we're going to start on. So we got 2 ints, and I'm going to go into my inspector and place those different cameras. Then I'm going to create a new function called turn off all cameras. I want all cameras off at beginning. So I'm going to do a for loop and set C, which is all the cameras in that array, to false. Then I'm going to create another function called start camera cycle. And I'm going to create a current index, and I'm going to create a for loop that sets everything to false. And at the end of it, I'm going to set the current index camera to true. Had a little issue. I had to put the current index at the bottom because I didn't want to skip the first camera. But that's going to be the current index that we're going to run. Let's go see if this works. So I'm going to go to my interactable, and I'm going to make sure I walk up to my camera, and let's see if the cameras turn off and the first one in that array turns on, which it does. Next, I'm going to create in my update. I'm going to first access the input system and check if I click the mouse down. And if I click the mouse down, I'm going to go to the next camera. Now, I need to make sure I'm in the camera cycle, otherwise when I press the left mouse button, I'll just start. So when I go into the start camera cycle, I'm going to set it true, I'm going to verify that it's true, and then I'm going to go to the next camera. So let's see if I'm in the camera cycle, can I go to the next camera? Clicking the left mouse button, and boom. So the next thing I want to do is, instead of just debug.log, I'm going to change this to start my camera cycle. So when I finally go back into my game, I click the button, I go to the first camera, and then when I click it again, I go to the second camera, and then when I go to the next one, I go to the third camera. New to coding? Feel like those tutorials are speaking an alien language? Yeah, we've been there, and that's why we built GameDevHQ, a place where you can actually learn by building. Our monthly membership gives you access to 900 plus hours of hands-on training from 2D to 3D, VR, AR, first-person and third-person games. Plus, you get access to 12,000 assets and daily check-ins, one-on-one tech support, and live workshops 6 days a week where we cover the stuff you want to learn. We're not just developers, we're gamers too, and we love helping people turn that first line of code into something special. Come hang out with us and let's build something together.